and welcome to Not Now in Theaters. My name is Will Turntail, and I'm a writer and film fan from California. This episode is about S. Craig Zahler's neo-noir action thriller grindhouse prison film Brawl in Cell Block 99. Yes, I just threw out a whole bunch of categories for this film, but don't let that confuse you and fear for artistic overreach. The movie is far more straightforward than something that fits into so many genres with Zeem, and you could say it's just plain brutal. But it's a lot smarter than just making violence happen for some kind of spectacle. I'm confident you'll get stuck into this film and root for its characters, so long as you can handle the hard stuff, which we'll get into. And I want to apologize to any regular listeners of this show because at the end of my last episode, I said we were doing Dog Soldiers this week. I didn't get that episode far along enough to finish it in time for this week's release, so it's going to have to go in for next week. Just before we start, here is a reminder that making films is hard and you have to respect that, so any criticisms are meant to be constructive. Also, my reviews can contain spoilers. I'll do my best to call them out for you if they come up. Okay, let's go to the show. Brawl in Cell Block 99 review, S. Craig Zahler's grindhouse prison thriller with Vince Vaughn. S. Craig Zahler's Brawl in Cell Block 99 delivers all the violence the title implies, but playing against your expectations is the hell of a road Bradley, the main character with a cross tattooed on the back of his skull, walks to get there. If you know it, Zahler's excellent, quote, rescue western, Bone Tomahawk, is the story of men confronting hellish cannibals. In that film, the heroes and villains are easy to spot. Brawl is another fight to preserve life, but against a cloudier picture. Moral at heart, main character Bradley's life is a battle against darkness and circumstances. When his struggle lands him in prison, the volume gets turned up hundreds of notches, and his fight amplifies into a gripping, visceral, near unreality. And giving the film a real-life twist, Zahler cast Vince Vaughn in the lead. Famous for comedies like Old School or Wedding Crashers, you wouldn't have picked out Vaughn for playing a character with a penchant for putting his fists through car windows. Yet critics have hailed Vaughn's performance as his best ever, leaning into the dramatic chops he's less frequently shown over his career. And the movie made the Los Angeles Times, New York Times, and AV Club's Best of the Year lists. So is Brawl in Cell Block 99 a good movie? The plot of Brawl in Cell Block 99, Bradley Thomas and his wife Lauren fall on hard times. To make money, he returns to running drugs for his old associate, Gil. But when a drug pickup goes bad, prison time is just the beginning of the potential consequences. And to walk you through the cast here, Bradley Thomas is of course played by Vince Vaughn, his wife Lauren is played by Jennifer Carpenter, his friend Gil is played by Mark Blucas, and going through the rest of the main cast, which I encourage you to read, the one and only Don Johnson plays Warden Tuggs, and you'll see that Udo Kier is the Placid Man. And if you don't know who Udo Kier is, you might not know him by name, but you probably know this guy by sight. There's something about him where he is a legend and just has this presence in which he can play a character and make it so unsettling. Quietly just sitting there and you're like, that guy's trouble. So check out his filmography. I'm sure you'll recognize him. And like I said, you can read the rest of the main cast here in the transcript. And if you wanted to watch a trailer for Brawl in Cell Block 99, as always, I have a trailer for it in the links in this episode section at the bottom of the transcript. I've also included any screen caps I've referenced on IMDb and a couple of other cool links like an interview with Vince Vaughn and S. Craig Zahler. Okay, so let's get into the good things about Brawl in Cell Block 99. The first one I'm calling that Zahler Pacing, and we'll give it 5 points. You wonder if S. Craig Zahler is cool as a cucumber stuck in traffic in a heat wave. There's a patient contemplation in his filmmaking where others may rush to cut. We sit with Bradley on the bus ride into prison. We hang with him as he drives to his boss, Gil's house. When Bradley and his wife Lauren talk about their troubles, the camera is back and steady. Most films will utilize cuts and put the characters in motion. Here, we just watch the actors go to work, sat down. And as Bradley, in a fit of rage, rips apart a Mitsubishi Eclipse by hand, we linger long enough to feel its rawness clashing with the quiet of the neighborhood, an American flag stone still on his porch. Some may shout and scream to get on with it, Monty Python and the Holy Grail style, if you know that reference. I actually put a link in that in the bottom in case you don't. But this isn't idleness for dwelling's sake. No doubt the longer scenes help the film reach its 132-minute runtime, but more is gained through all this kind of hang time. We develop a more intimate relationship with our characters. We have time to breathe and think about what's happening. Then, the shift, after all the pausing, is more effectively jarring when things explode into trouble. Next up, let's talk about the performances. These are worth a fat stack of 8 points. To paraphrase, Zahler has said he cast Vince Vaughn in the lead because it would be a transformation for the veteran actor, who usually plays in comedy. The shift would make the character more original. If Zahler cast a veteran actor with experience playing Southern badasses, they might lean on familiar tones of previous roles. And oh boy, does Vaughn nail the trick. Bradley is dry, to the point, and darkly responsible. The writing serves him well, and in Vaughn's hands, the character is difficult not to like. Thanks to his comedic brand, I forget Vaughn is a tall man with a wide frame. Watching Vaughn's Bradley turn to madness for his greater good is darkly magic. We can see an actor pretending to be a man, pretending to be a badder man than he is. It's not easy, but Vaughn gets there. The thin frame of Jennifer Carpenter against the 6'5" Vaughn is like a tower with a soft spot for a pixie, and she finds an in this shitstorm together chemistry with Vaughn that's moving. Then there's Mr. Miami Vice himself, Don Johnson, who performs brilliantly as the sinister, cigar-chomping Warden Tuggs. Zahler cited Johnson's ability as he, quote, does a fantastic job bringing this character to life as someone who handles different people as an animal handler would handle different animals. It's well said. Stoic in the face of awful, Tuggs will dominate inmates into submission, employing methods, as he puts it, Amnesty International would frown on. And watch out for a chilling Udo Kier as Eleazar's unconscionable henchman. Like I said, that dynamite German actor you know you've seen in that thing you can't name. Next, let's talk about what I'm calling hard turns, and this is worth 4 points. Zahler has said his writing process is to surprise himself every day, and Brawl's script lives up to the goal. The film's game is gliding along until a sudden, oh shit moment pops in, be it an ouch-worthy fistfight or a plot twist that hits in the guts. You wonder if Bradley and Lauren fell in love at an AA meeting. Their romance is moving thanks to its support and acceptance. Flawed yet with honor, up to no good, it's like they were pulled under the law and couldn't find a better way of life to get out. With the cross tattooed on the back of his head, Bradley suffers like a Jesus figure. But this faith leader deals in blood debts over forgiveness. Bradley is a moral man with a pockmarked past. You could imagine him pulling his car over to help a motorist change a tire, then driving off to finish a drug deal. Self-aware, he meets his trying circumstances with illegal decisions. He'd like to stay on the straight path, but he'd rather assist in a drug-dealing operation than struggle to provide for his wife. And it's a textbook thriller. The film has a clear premise with plenty at stake and that essential ticking clock. I couldn't review this movie without mentioning its dialogue, which is worth 2 points. Zahler's theatrical dialogue keeps it fresh. There are small, flavorful touches like Bradley calling his baby, quote, the koala, or dishing out some memorable insults. Bradley monologues about how, despite having a 1 in 3 chance of blindly finding the real coffee cream and not the artificial substitute from a store's fridge, he rarely gets that cream on the first try. It's a little metaphor for Bradley's life from an unlikely source. And there's Lefty's prison introduction to Bradley. The trustee shows him around and tells him tips like not shying away from letting people know why you're in prison. As Lefty puts it, you don't represent what you did, or if you don't represent what you did, inmates might fill in the blanks that you're a child molester or worse and jump you. It's one small dialogue that sums up an entire prison's scary reality for an audience. And now, let's give 2 points for the straight-up, unfiltered brutality of this movie. I don't want to come across as the guy who just celebrates all that, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it's there in me. You know how in Jedi, Darth Vader tells Luke to take his helmet off and that he was right about him and there was good left in him? Well, I think inside every man is a little urge to whack everything around them with a stick. And since we can't do that to each other, we make movies. Anyhow, you know you're in for tough moments when Zahler himself wondered if he'd gone too far with the film's violence. These fights are not for young eyes. Similar to Drive, they use physical gore effects. Think smashed heads and split bones. But while the effects are unrealistic, the depiction is straight. There are few cuts in the action, close-ups, or glossy effects, if any. Action is shot as still and plain as the film's conversations. Still, this isn't gore for gore's sake. There are some cringeable moments, but without this pain, the movie would be too tame for its trial of endurance to matter. So now let's talk about what I didn't totally like about Brawl in Cell Block 99. I'm going to throw these two nitpicks out, and we'll take 1 point away for the both of them. One, an inmate is named Lefty. I know it's a criminal name I've heard at least once, Al Pacino's character in Donnie Brasco, say, and feels like 100 times. As creative as Zahler is, I thought he could do better. Two, in the scene where Bradley ends up getting arrested, he struggles to climb up a pier pole in the water as it is too slippery for him. I could be wrong, but it looked like Vince Vaughn was just standing in a few feet of water, bending down and pretending to struggle. It lost the illusion. Maybe there wasn't time or money for a reshoot here, and it had to stay in the film. I don't know. But it didn't look right to me, and it's not like I was just looking out for things that didn't look right either. Keeping track of this stuff borders on being a bad audience. Still, I list them to prove this isn't a free praise piece. And also, no points off for this, but I have to mention that this movie will be a hard watch for some audiences. The film isn't base and vulgar for the sake of it, but if you don't want to feel emotionally challenged, look elsewhere. Zahler works on creative control, and he's not afraid of what an audience will think or what a studio will allow. So adding it all up, Brawl in Cell Block 99 scores 20 points. On my scale of let's not watch, should I watch, or go watch this movie, that firmly grabs it my go watch rating. The film smashes cars, faces, and your expectations. An unfussy thriller, it moves at low speed until erupting into chaotic violence you can't unsee. It rides brilliant performances, a solid story, and nifty theatrical dialogue into a devil's playground of a somewhat good man forced to do more bad than he intended. An experience more than just a watch, this movie is recommended for all audiences who don't mind the hard stuff. The legacy of Brawl in Cell Block 99. So what is the legacy of Brawl in Cell Block 99? Well, coming after the success of Bone Tomahawk, which I really should do an episode about, I think it helped Craig Zahler show that his success in that film wasn't a one-off. After Brawl, he'd go on to make Dragged Across Concrete, which I may also do an episode about at some point. I think he had already started shooting or began shooting Dragged pretty much right when Brawl was being released, so I don't think making Dragged was contingent on Brawl's success. But Brawl in Cell Block 99 is a second example of how Zahler's slow, gradual filmmaking can still find a place in our current movie environment, and that nasty, non-CGI violence can be effective. I wouldn't say the movie is a massive cult hit, but if you hang out on nerdy movie threads, there's plenty of appreciation for it. It joins the list of films that can succeed on a low budget in this era, generating most of its revenue through streaming rights rather than a larger theatrical release. For Vince Vaughn, his success with Brawl led to him getting cast and Dragged Across Concrete, as that was Zahler's next film. And I think Vaughn's work in Brawl reminded filmmakers that he had a lot more to offer than just straight comedy. He'd been in movies like The Cell and Domestic Disturbance earlier in his career. Still, he was on a comedic run with films like Wedding Crashers and Old School leading up to this film. But I can't say that it was all Brawl that returned Vaughn to drama. He was already in things like True Detective and the film Hacksaw Ridge in the years, say, 2015 forward. Jennifer Carpenter would also continue into Zahler's next film, Dragged Across Concrete. She plays a mother returning to work in that movie, and her appearance makes up one of the strangest little detours I've seen a film take. Again, I should do an episode on Dragged. It's got a lot to unpack. Carpenter is still best known for her work on the TV show Dexter and its spin-off, Dexter: New Blood. Apologies to any actors I didn't highlight. Lastly, I think the scene where Vince Vaughn's character Bradley smashes the Mitsubishi Eclipse by hand is the most well-known from the movie. I've seen a video on YouTube where someone edited that scene to look like a bonus stage from Street Fighter 2. You know, the one where you have to smash the car? I can't link it here for copyright reasons, but if that video hasn't been taken down, you might be able to find it. And a cool fact here about this movie, according to IMDb, there was a question and answer session at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it is said that Vince Vaughn did, in fact, destroy the car he smashes in the movie by hand. The production somehow set up the real car parts in a way that Vaughn wouldn't hurt himself badly. And the key words here to me are wouldn't hurt himself badly, because that still implies, yes, he would experience some pain. It just shows you Vaughn's commitment to the role. Okay, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and if you haven't seen it, check out Brawl in Cell Block 99. And if you have seen it, what do you think? Is its offbeat style sluggish or purposeful and gripping? You can reach out and let me know on Blue Sky using the link in the transcript, or you can search for Will Turntail. I think I'm the only one on Blue Sky by that name. And if you like this episode, please leave me a review wherever you're listening from. I'm the only one that puts this show together, so just 1 to 2 minutes of your time would really help me out. And I'd love to hear what you think of the show, positive or negative. Or if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like button on the episode for me. New episodes of this podcast come out every Tuesday, so I'll be back with you in about a week. And I'll have to make sure next week is the As Promised Dog Soldiers. I think Living in Oblivion is coming up sometime soon as well. This podcast episode is a production copyright of Overegged Media, LLC, located in Sacramento, California. Reference photos linked in the transcript are copyrighted by the Internet Movie Database. This review's factual information was gathered through online sources like Wikipedia, IMDb, or interviews. Misrepresentations and errors are possible, but unintentional. The introduction music, exit music, and additional music were all found through Incompetech.com, made by Kevin MacLeod. They're all licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. The names of those songs are Neon Laser Horizon, Voxel Revolution, Waltz Primordial, and Aerosol of My Love. Goodbye for now.